So we're going to run through a quick stretch class to help kind of release around your lower back. So we're going to start on all fours, and we're just going to go to start with into a few cat-cows. So see when you do this, if you can lead from your tail. So as you tuck your tailbone under, you'll feel your abdominals lift, your whole spine will follow, head will drop towards the floor. Keep pressing into that floor. And then roll from your sit bones, allowing your chest to come up and through your arms so you get a nice stretch in your upper back as well. So with all of these stretches, make sure you're not pushing yourself too far. You're only going within the limits of how you feel on any given day. We're going to do a couple more of these. And when you go into that kind of extension, so where your tummy's hanging towards the floor, really do let your tummy go a little bit. Let your back passage and the back of you go as well so that you can feel all of that release. And then really tuck that tail under at the bottom so you get that little bit extra lift into your abdominals. So we're going to pause after this one, and we're going to come one hand a little bit narrow, and we're going to thread the needle. So palm faces up. We're going to rotate down and dive that shoulder towards the floor so your head and shoulder can potentially rest on the floor. Take a nice big breath in there. Feel that stretch around your shoulder blades. And as you breathe out, press into that hand, come up and reach towards the sky. Come all the way back down, follow it through. Again, just take that little bit of a pause there, a little bit of a breath, and press yourself all the way to come up. So we're going to do a few on this side. And don't worry if you can't reach up towards the sky as much as you can reach down. There is less rotation here. But try to keep your hips in the middle of you rather than them waving from side to side. And that way you'll get a little bit more of a stretch as well around your lower ribs and kind of upper lower back. So we'll do one more here. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So switch hands, again, palm facing up. We dive ourselves down. Feel that twist into your spine. Press yourself all the way up and rotate towards the sky. And again, all the way down and through. So the more you reach that hand through you, the more you're going to feel that stretch around your shoulder blade and kind of around that upper back as well. And if you can keep those hips from wibbling, you'll also feel a little bit more stretch into your kind of upper lower back. So we're going to do two more like that. Oh, bit of a crack. Last one. Reaching all the way up towards the sky. And then we're going to pause here, heading back to all fours. And we're going to tuck that tailbone under so we come into our kind of cat. And you're going to just start to wiggle your hips from side to side. So this way you'll get a little bit more of a stretch into your lower back. And you might feel this a little bit down your side as well. But keep trying to tuck that tailbone under. So you're going to do a couple more of those. And then you're going to walk yourself backwards. And we're going to come up into almost a bit of a will you marry me? So down on one knee. Walk that foot a little bit further away from you and just make sure that you're not walking a tightrope, so there's a bit of width between your legs. And we're going to drop forward into a hip stretch and then press it back so you get a bit more of a stretch through the back of your thigh, back of your calf. So again, you just go as far as you can, as far as you want. That foot's remaining nice and relaxed the whole time. So you don't have to pull it all the way up. All that's going to do is kind of tension your calf and things. If you want a little bit more of that, you can, but it might also bring on a little bit more neural involvement. So if you let that foot stay really nice and relaxed, you're going to avoid that. And as you go through the front, we're looking for that stretch in the front of your thigh. So again, take it as far as you need to feel that stretch. If you want to hold on to something here for a little bit of balance, you can as well. But just try and make it really nice and fluid. So we'll go one more here. And then we're going to pause and we're going to switch sides. So again, legs slightly further out than you think. We're going to drop down into that hip stretch. Oh, that's a bit tighter today. And then sit it back into that hamstring stretch. So I definitely feel tighter on this side than the other side. So do as many as you feel you need so that everything kind of loosens off a little bit and you can feel that release. And it's not about just holding it in position, but kind of really nice and fluidly moving between the two. And as you go forward, it's almost like you're slightly tucking your tailbone underneath. And as you go back, it's almost like you're trying to get your tailbone to stick out a little bit. How far that goes will simply depend on how much mobility you have. So we'll do one more like that. And then we're going to pause here. And we're going to turn sideways on our mat and let one leg come out to the side. So you'll feel a bit of a stretch through that inner thigh here. And all we're going to do first is to just sit back and stand back up again, pushing that pubic bone forward. Let it go, sit back, and come all the way back up again. So when you get, the stretch will kind of move around your inner thigh a little bit, but we want you to get to the point where you feel potentially a little bit of a stretch in this standing supporting leg, as well as that inner thigh on the long leg. So we're going to add in a bit of rotation here if you want to. So as you sit back, we're going to rotate up towards the sky and then come forward as you stand up. So again, rotating up towards the sky and forward. So you might even feel like this bending and straightening knee is working, this thigh is working a little bit as well. So you're getting a little bit of strength in there as well as that little bit of a stretch. But allow this leg that's straight to really roll and turn. So you're sort of pushing that hip forward a little bit as you come up to standing almost. Last one. And then we're going to switch sides. So other leg comes out, feel that stretch here. And again, sit your hips back and then push them up, a little bit of a tuck under as you come forward. So we start without the rotation just to sort of see how you feel. And then it means that you can add in the rotation and increase it if you want to as well. So if you're ready, you can go rotate towards the sky as you sit back and come all the way back up again. All the way around and all the way up. So you'll feel your both hips sit back, and as you come up, it's like we want to push this straight leg hip forward so we get a little bit more stretch into the front and around this thigh. Just to try and open up those hips a little bit as well. So we'll go one more on this side. And then we're going to pause and we're going to come to sitting. So we're going to sit cross-legged. You can, if you want to, have your legs slightly more out front. You can sit on a pillow or something if you want to as well, or you can just do this on a chair. One hand goes towards the side and we're coming up and over. We're just going to pause there and take a really big breath down into the side of you. And on your next out breath, we're going to come all the way up and all the way over to the other side. So you'll feel this a little bit lower into your side. And that supporting arm is helping you a little bit so you don't feel too crunched into your kind of lower side. Really reach that top arm away from you, palm facing the floor, because that way you'll pick up all the side muscles in your back. And then try not to sit up too straight in this exercise. So we're not up in extension. You shouldn't feel kind of jammed up there, but that rib cage is just floating as much as it can over your pelvis. And you might find that by sitting back a little bit into your sitting bones, so those bony bits in the back of your bum, that might help you to just stay a little bit more on top of yourself. So we'll do a couple more there, one more each side, Really finding that stretch. And you can pause into any of these if you want a little bit more of a static stretch, taking a few deep breaths. And then we're going to finish with one more for your hips. So turn around onto your mat, have your feet really nice and wide, and we're going to come down onto our elbows. Have those feet a little bit closer to you than you think, and we're going to let your knees drop over to one side. So you'll start to feel a bit of a stretch through the front of your thigh, and then just bring them all the way back up and drop them over to the other side. Now when you're here, imagine that that top leg is going to press down and almost reach away, so you get a little bit more kind of length out through that knee, so you get a little bit more of a stretch into the front of that thigh. And then just rolling over the back of your tail to come to the other side. So let yourself settle into that place as you roll over, just allowing those feet to turn before heading back and over to the other side. So you can prop yourself up on a whole load of pillows if you want to for this one, but the aim of the game is to get that rotation kind of around your hips and a little bit more into your lower back. So go last one here. You'll feel that glute work at the end. And then bring yourself back to the center, walk yourself all the way up, and thank you for joining me.
Why not check out these related videos? Thanks for joining us, everyone.